So good morning to all spectators from Gleitender.tv and for all the fans from North Kiteboarding. We are now, it's very early in the morning, I have to wake up.
Thank you, I appreciate
it. Normally I'm sleeping right now, but I try my best.
The joys of having a 12-hour difference between New Zealand and Germany.
On the other side in New Zealand is Mike Raper, and he will explain us today the new combination between the different sports from kitesurfing, windsurfing, foiling and sailing from North, and everything is right now under one logo.
Yes,
but there's much more. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, there's been a lot going on. We've definitely been really busy for sure. Well, thank you very much for the interview. I appreciate it. My name is Mike Rafer. I'm the brand director for North, so I'm responsible for North Kiteboarding and North Foils. We have a separate division handling North Windsurfing. We also have a parent company that I think most of you know, which is North Sails, and that's North Sails is responsible for North Sailing brand, so the big boat sails, you know, the 3DI sails, they kind of have a very large market share within performance sailing for the America's Cup boats, the big luxury yachts. You see the North Sails logo. So they've really been responsible. They were established in 1957. So we've always been part of that company. The original logo for North Sails has been around since then. Obviously, as a brand, we licensed to Boards and More for many years, and Boards and More created their own slanted N logo, which we all love. You know, it's been around for 20 years, or more than 22 years now. I think 23 years coming up. But we decided to bring the brand home and to bring it back to its roots and back to its heritage, its true heritage. And this is why we made the decision as a group to reintroduce the NS, the traditional NS logo. What we also did, we were able to keep the North word mark. So it's two different things I'm talking about. One is an icon or a logo, which is the NS logo. It's just been updated. But most importantly, we kept our North word mark, which has been around for a while now. If you go to our website, northkb.com, you can check out the logo. What I talk about is the logo, the icon, and the word mark. We don't put them together. We keep them quite separate, and you'll see that in all of our marketing, all of our products. But the reason we brought that together is because as a group, you know, we have to be able to work together, and we want to be able to leverage off the experience that North Sails has in manufacturing of raw materials. They've been famous for introducing some of the most advanced materials and cloths in the world over the years through sailing. So we really wanted to leverage their experience in what they call the North Sails Textiles, Advanced Textiles. It's a division, it's a group of people who are responsible for the technologies like 3DI sails. Most recently within our winging, you'll notice over a year and a half ago, we introduced the N-weave material, and then this year, I think it was in July, we introduced N-weave 45, which is the new version of the N-weave material. So this is a material that we've developed in-house. It's about 105 grams. It kind of sits between the SLS DLE 140s and the Lulas at about
today you have
over 100 grams.
Sorry, Mike. You don't have to spoil about N-weave, because I have tomorrow another interview with Uli Sommerlath.
Ah, perfect.
And he would like
he will explain it all in detail.
He would like to talk especially about N-weave materials.
Perfect. So I'll let him explain in more detail on your next interview. But I think what I'm trying to get across is that the brand is its history of manufacturing material. We wanted to come in and use the same logo, so that both North Sails, and you've seen North Sails apparel, which is also doing the ocean jackets, the waterwear, the streetwear, bringing everybody together onto the same logo was really important for us. And the benefit of the logo if you look at it, it's effectively a circle, almost like a sun or a moon rising on a horizon where it has a line cut through. So you both have two most magical elements, which is the wind and the water. And when you have that wind and that water together, that's when we have our sport. That's when the magic happens. And you know, we love the logo, the icon for that reason. So making that change, we wanted to ensure that that was brought through all of our range of products. And we had a really big 18 months leading up, or almost 2 years leading up to the launch, where we had to change. You can't imagine how much work it was changing all the logos, the icons, all the printed material, all the molded products. We had thousands and thousands of items that we needed to change to make the change. But now that we've made that change, we understand some people loved the logo immediately. I mean, vast majority. There was a small group of people who said, "No way, I love the old N logo, the sharp N logo." And we understand that, but we hope over time that those customers will come back in love with the new logo. The key message here is that the brand has not changed. We still stand for the same morals, the same tone of voice, the same authenticity that we've always had. The brand has not changed, please let me assure you, but it's only the logo that has changed. I think now that we've made that change, we can stay with that logo for a long time.
But you mix probably the R&Ds from these different themes, or you only work stronger together, or what is the idea behind, what is the profit, or how does it work to come right now closer together to figure out what is the best materials, or I know North Sales is building so long canopies and everything for sailing and everything. There's a lot of knowledge that's probably very, very, very good for you for the wing foil theme and everything. How do you bring it together?
It's been strategically, it's been a really good move for us. A few years ago, we only had one kite designer, both designing our kites and our wings, and the workload was just too big. So what we decided to do was create a new design team. So it's not just individuals, but a team of designers. So we now have Pepijn Smit based in Holland. We have Dan O.C. Pepijn does all of our kite design. We then have Dan O.C. who does some of our kite design, but primarily wing design. We then have another person called Dave Little, who is a materials specialist who works with us and with North Sales together to develop the materials. He's based in San Francisco. We then have Steve Calder, who is one of the top sail designers in North Sales, who also works with us in our design team, helping us design wings, and a little bit transfer of knowledge into kites, but primarily the wings. And then we obviously have our product manager, Uli Samlat, who we'll be talking to tomorrow, and for wings and kiting. And then our kiting product manager, Brent, who's also based here in New Zealand, is the other product manager. But effectively, and obviously we have some senior system product managers who are able to work with us on the development, the communication, the suppliers, the projects. But effectively, it's a big team that we can now leverage together and work with the rest of the North Sales Advanced Textiles team. So that means we're able to develop in-house our own materials. And of course, that gives us control not only over what we call vertically integrated material. So we're able to develop the material, control the consistency of the material, and we give that, and then we bring that into our manufacturing, and then we bring it in all the way through to the consumer. So we're controlling every part of that process, as we all know materials are extremely important together with that design process. You can have incredible materials but a shit design, or you can have really good designs with good materials. It can be quite challenging. So trying to work through that process and trying to make sure that we're able to leverage benefits of the group within kiteboarding and North Foiling. And obviously with North Windsurfing, with the 3DI sails, you've seen the performance 40% lighter and really accurate canopies.
Was it the reason that Pat Goodman works back to Cabrina? That he don't.
I think
what
Pat's got a really good lifestyle in Taiwan, and I think the workload that we were giving him was fairly extreme, and we gave Pat the opportunity to bring on an assistant or a protege or someone, but I think over time the workload was just fairly extreme, and I think that's probably one of the reasons that Pat decided to go. I think he had his roots with Cabrina, and I think obviously with I think he found a way to move back to them and to work with them again. But we're really happy now with the team. We have been from day one. It's been amazing. I mean, the performance of the orbit has just stepped up every year. The reach has improved every single year. We're really confident in our designers, but more importantly, our feedback from our team riders, feedback from our testers, and that process of development. We've got a really good recipe for how to develop equipment with fast iterations, quick, fast delivery, so we can get on the water, get feedback, get new samples as quickly as possible. And that seems to be the secret at the moment. All the way through COVID, we had some challenging times, but you've seen through the performance of products that we've released over the past 12, 18 months, we're now starting to lead the market in performance in some key categories and some key areas. We want to lead in everything, obviously, but it takes time.
What do you think about another theme? What do you think about the price range that everything is growing up more and more and more? And right now in Germany, the German market is a little bit down right now because it's pretty expensive, and the prices are getting with the new fabrics and everything goes, and all the new R&D and all the new ideas and very nice things they built, everybody. But the thing is, the prices will get higher and higher and higher. What is your idea for this theme? Because North do all the kites right now in regular background with a front tube and everything. Is this the reason that you can hold the regular prices, or?
Yeah, I think we at the moment what I call pricing tiers or pricing levels, basically like a classic original level, and then there's that kind of pro level or SLS level, and then there's that sort of ultra level or the D-Lab level, and we definitely have those pricing tiers coming in the future. We're working on those now, but what our goal is to try and make sure that those ultra high performance materials are more affordable. That's why I talked before about the importance of developing the materials in-house so we can control the pricing of those materials.
Yeah.
So our goal is to try and bring high performance materials at affordable prices. Yes, they are going to be more expensive than a classic or a pro model, but and we're going to introduce the ultra models in the future with the high performance materials. But at the moment, I think we need to make it as affordable as possible for the consumers. I mean, if you look at for some of the sales that are on at the moment, as a consumer, you can purchase, there's a 75% discount on Nash kites in Kite Miner at the moment. There's a 50% discount on Cabrina kites at Kite Miner at the moment. Like, these are pretty substantially big discounts, which means consumers are able to purchase products at very low, very, very low prices compared to COVID times. So I think there is a shift in the market. I think there's also a lot of brands with a lot of stock in the market at the moment, which means they have to discount to move that stock to keep cash flow. So I think we're focused on continuing to provide a reasonably affordable products, classic products, performance products. But in the future, yes, we will introduce tiers and more expensive products. I think there's always a percentage of the market, maybe let's say 10% of the market, that are so passionate that they want to buy the most expensive material with the highest performance. There will always be that small group of people who can afford that. Maybe they don't go on holiday every year. Maybe they don't have a luxury, anything in their life, but their passion, their love is to spend it on our sports. And I hope we're able to cater to those consumers, those customers.
You think also for events like King of the Air, because as we see the board in the back, everything, you take it in your own home place, okay. Right now, I think it's not even possible to win one of these big air hype events without stronger materials in the front tube and the struts and everything, and new construction, because to go more and more and more on the limit, I think it's necessary to have something like this. You use I think very nice material, and we're talking later with Uli. Is it possible to use it also in the kites?
Yeah, we've tested N-weave, but we're currently testing variations of N-weave. So the N-weave that works well for winging doesn't work well for kites. What we're discovering is a lot of the materials that work for kiting do not work for winging, and we need to separate these materials and have very specific materials for winging and very specific materials for kites. To answer your question about some of the riders, the athletes, and how they are able to win these big events, that they need to be on high performance products, is true. The reality is these riders are now pushing the boundary of what's possible. They need kites to fly high, and they need them to do double, triple loops, S-bends. They need the kites to fly out to the edge of the window and react very quickly. Now, that's not ideal for the average consumer. Like let's take example, our Orbit. The Orbit is one of the most predictable in the unpredictable conditions. It's very easy to use. However, as a beginner, as an advanced beginner or a beginner intermediate, you're able to purchase an Orbit and learn to jump and eventually, maybe one day, loop as very easily. However, you need a slightly different performance characteristics for competition riders. This is why you heard it here first on Glyton TV. We will be launching the Orbit Pro in approximately 1 week's time on the 7th of November. And the Orbit Pro is a lighter weight material. It's called NMAX material. And the NMAX material is approximately 135 grams LE, but it has higher light performance and very light. So this kite is designed to do the competition tricks. It's purely a competition Orbit kite for our riders to really push the limits of what's possible. But I think, yeah, it's not everybody. It's not everybody should be buying the average consumer. Average customer should be buying the Orbit. It's a fantastic kite for learning to get big air and to learn to do some of these tricks. However, if you're in that small percentage, that small group of riders who are really pushing the limits, then Orbit Pro is perfect for you.
Right now, in the moment, the big air kite loop events and everything, and the whole scene, there's a big hype, and you see from all these companies, everybody is only talking about that, and all the advertisement is also going in that direction. And I think there's also a little bit frustrating in the mainstream market that nobody give the focus on the real perfect feeling for a regular person, for a normal person. How do you feel after a kite session or a wing session when you come from the water to transportate with the advertisement from a company that more in that direction, because it's 85% on the market. They spend the whole money for everybody in the market, also for us. And why we cannot find advertisement in that direction from nobody.
Yeah, well, I mean, just to speak, I can only speak for the North brand, but we only do one advert per year in our double page spreads in the magazines for the Orbit. Most of the time we're marketing the Reach, which is our do everything kite. It's your desert island kite. The kite that if you're going to go to a desert island and you only had one kite to take, you would take the Reach. It boosts, it loops, it foils, it surfs, it does everything. So the Reach kite is the kite that we recommend to everybody every chance we get. We always promote, we always push the Reach kite. We have other specialist kites like the Code Zero for one strut light wind foiling. We have the Carve for wave riding. We have the Pulse for freestyle. But the reality is most of the time we're pushing the Reach because that is the kite that the average kiteboarder wants to ride. Same for foiling when we talk about the Nova. The Nova is our free ride, do everything wing. That's why we push these models first. However, the excitement of the, if you talk about the people in the sport, the top of the pyramid, you have the average consumers at the bottom, you have some of the people who are kind of really passionate, and then you have that group at the top. They are very excited about big air because that's where the competition is at the moment. That's where the sport is progressing the fastest in regards to performance. And when they're excited about it, I think everybody else gets excited about it. And I think it's a natural progression. You remember 10 years ago, 15 years ago, everyone was excited about freestyle. At the moment, maybe same time surfing, wave riding. The wave riding categories have gone down. The freestyle categories have gone down. Right now, everyone's really excited about big air because that's where the sport is progressing and advancing through technologies, through innovation the most. So I guess, there's an element of the brand celebrating that. But as a North brand, we always celebrate it calls. How the sport and how the feeling that when you go riding, it calls to you. And you can be sitting in your office one day and you can see the wind forecast and it's coming. You can look out the window and you can see the leaves start to move and change direction. You and I get excited by this. This is what we celebrate: the sport, the feeling it gives you, and that connection with nature and the spirit of the sports that we do. These are so important to us as a brand.
I'm getting excited about exactly the feeling that I'm talking about, because how is the feeling after a good session? It's only personal for me, but it doesn't hangs on pictures or something like that. And then also I don't talk about print or photos or something like that, because it's not so much from the advertisement from everybody. The most things are social media and videos and or what the writers do. And then you see everybody's riding huge waves, going in tubes, jumping super high, doing front loops, kite loops, back loops, everything. But nobody did that. Everybody on the water is only going from from left to the right and back, and is jumping 3 meters maximum. Okay.
Yeah, but I think.
But at the end, he's coming from the water, and it looks like this. Okay. Then another example: the last storm here at the Baltic Sea. It was a really strong disaster for all the normal person, because the water goes too high for the land, and a lot of super talent riders coming to our area, and they want to kick Josh in the ass, because everybody wants to break the world record with the highest jump. And then nobody did with 50 knots and huge waves. Nobody is higher than 30 meters. And nobody from these guys are posting that. You cannot find not even one post of these guys that they are on the water. And that's totally crazy, because this is a message for everybody. Is this the fun that I'm looking for? Because I'm not excited when I jump 28 meters. I think it's strange. And when I see somebody's coming from the water, he's only riding a little bit, and he has only one piece into the big gray small piece of sun in between, and then he's completely happy. And you cannot find advertisement for these people. That's the reason why I'm
Yeah,
talking.
I
think
I understand. I understand where you're coming from.
I think the people we lose all these people because we are only we do the whole media, but we are only talking about the Formula One.
Yeah, I understand. Maybe maybe you're saying this as a generalization for the industry, but for North,
it's for yeah. I think.
For North, we work really hard.
What is your idea about this? I understand the story about the reach, but also with the reach, I saw this that you push much more the reach than the other ones, but also in the pictures, they are the best professional writers doing things that nobody else do.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I get what you mean.
I try to sell a new idea for advertisement to change this, to give it. I don't know how it works, yeah, but I think it could be a new thing for everybody, for each company.
Yeah,
because
I think different brands have different focuses, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And for us, I think if you go to the North Instagram profile posts, you'll see that we have a really even spread of all the different disciplines, from wave riding to big air to free ride. And honestly, one of our focuses is always on free ride, because that is 70% of the market. Now, if we can focus on that 60-70% of the market, these are the new customers. These are the customers we love, because everything is new. Everything is a new experience, and they're learning so much every time they go riding. They get so excited about the journey and about sharing this experience. This is why we work really hard on our social media and all of our advertising, all of our marketing, to really spread the love, to spread the different categories. We don't just focus on big air. Yes, some of our riders but these are riders who compete. And the biggest competition in town at the moment is big air. So of course, some of our riders will be focusing on big air, but we also have a lot of other riders who are focusing on strapless freestyle, like Camille, Capucine. These riders on strapless freestyle. We have all these different riders doing all these different disciplines. Jesse Richmond in big waves. Like we have such a diverse team that we work really hard on keeping an even balance and trying to focus most of our energy on what I call free ride, or the reach. Those free ride customers are so important, and sharing the stoke, sharing the love. It's so important. So important. Not just big air.
Yes, that sounds good.
But at the same time, we also want to support where the industry, where that competition side, and Red Bull is the biggest event of the year, and as one of the biggest brands in the industry, the bigger brands in the industry, we want to support that event, and it's a premium event which gets a huge amount of international coverage to new customers. It's not just our industry, it's not just our existing customers, it's opening the eyes and the minds and trying to inspire a younger generation of riders. People that have never seen kiteboarding and said, wow, that's crazy. Maybe I could give it a go. Maybe they come to the website. When they land on the website, then they see the free ride. They don't see the big air. The big air is the special sprinkling on the cake. It's the icing on the cake. But I think the reality for most people is that they come, they enjoy, like you said, a free ride session where maybe they don't jump. Maybe they just go backwards and forwards and have an amazing time.
Yeah. How strong is wingfoiling into the North company?
I can't give you the exact percentages because it's intellectual property, but it has grown substantially. I think we've had 50% growth per year for 3 years. So I think it was 20, 21, 22. We had approximately 50% growth every year as a percentage of our turnover. So it's now become a very large part of our business. However, we still focus heavily. 50% of our energy goes into kiteboarding, 50% goes into foiling. We believe the future, maybe the two sports will get to a similar quantity amount of riders. So it makes sense that we put 50% of our investment into foils. But we're excited. We've got a really exciting new range of foiling products. We're going to have 5 different wings on the market next year. And same as we have, 5 kites now. I think that's an even balance. But we see a lot of innovation in winging at the moment and a lot of development. So it's a challenge to try and lead that market in performance and design. So we're working on it. We're excited. I mean, man, the more people on the water, I'm happy. I love watching people come into both sports. And you could argue that kiteboarding, you need a really good instructor. You need you put your life in their hands and they teach you, and you need to be committed to learn to kiteboarding. But kiteboarding is really exciting. But maybe it's too exciting for some people. Big jumps and being pulled by a power source. Maybe it's a little bit scary for some people. So there's another option, which is foiling. You can ride out in your foil, no wind, no problem. I put my foot down, I can paddle back, I keep the flotation, it's safer. You don't need a really good instructor. You can have a friend, an uncle, a sister, a brother, somebody teach you how to foil. Within 5-10 sessions, you can be foiling pretty well. I always recommend everyone has a lesson, of course, but my point is, after those first initial lessons, you can self-teach or have a friend teach you. So I think the barrier to entry into foiling is much lower and easier. However, it is more expensive. So
What about sub-downwind foiling? Is it a theme for you?
It's an interesting one. I think there's more evolution to come in downwinding. I think it needs to become easier and more accessible. I think at the moment, a lot of the focus is on the fast-moving open ocean swells in Australia, Hawaii, where you're a long way away from the coastline. And that is beyond most people. They would never travel that far out into the ocean. We need to work out how do we make downwind foiling accessible in Amazon. Sorry, I say this incorrectly, but the lakes. South Citterol and all these inland lakes where you have a 5-kilometer fetch where you only get maybe 2 feet, if you're lucky, maybe 3 foot of swell. But you can have a fantastic time downwinding at a low speed in these lakes. So I think we really need to focus on making downwinding accessible and easy to use for the average person, because we're all learning to foil. Once you learn to foil, you can kite foil, you can wing foil, you can prone surf foil, you can pump, dock start, you can downwind, you can tow foil, you can boat foil, you name it, you can do it now. Once you become really proficient or really good at one of these, you can start to explore these other foiling sports. And that's incredibly exciting. It's a lifetime of learning ahead of you. So I think same as kite surfing. At the beginning, we only had kites with a twin tip board. Then we had kites with surfboards. Then we had kites with foils, skimboards, wake skates. You name it. In kiting, we've gone through all these different disciplines and explored, and everyone's had so much fun trying all these different sports. I think the same thing is now happening with winging.
So we have to watch tomorrow at Uli Sommerlath when he is talking about, especially over the new equipment from canopies and things like Enweave and other stuff. What you told us, it sounds very interesting.
Fantastic. I'm so happy. Uli is obviously native German, so he will be much more eloquent than me. I'm sorry.
Well, he want to do also the interview in English. For me it's easier to make it in German. But it doesn't matter. I think everybody will understand this.
I'm really excited for you to talk to Uli. He's a really great product manager. Thank you very much for your time.
Cool.